What's going on, everybody? This is Ryan A. Polk with the wrap up. Saw Brian Banks earlier today, and this movie stars Aldous Hodge, who plays Brian Banks, Greg Kinner, and Sherry Shepard. And for those who are not familiar with the Brian Banks case, Brian Banks, he's a former linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons, and back in high school in 2002, he was wrongly accused of rape and spent 6 years in jail for it and also 5 years probation. And during that time, while he was in high school, his dreams was crushed. He was on his way to USC to be playing college football and also most likely playing professional football as well too after college. But then in 2012, that was when it got overturned, and in 2013, the Atlanta Falcons had signed him, and at the age of 28, he was the oldest rookie to ever start in the NFL. And this movie was so good. I mean, they did good with the choices of to play these actors, and his story is just so interesting. And the movie was, and the movie definitely is definitely one of the best movies of 2019. I mean, his story is just so interesting, and it was just so messed up of everything that had happened with this case. It's and it just was not fair at all for this guy that his career was put to an end, all because of everything that had happened with this case. I mean, it was almost because like the system pretty much didn't even care about his case in a way. And I don't want to spoil the movie, but okay, if you do know the case, yes, you do know that, like, yes, like all the everything was cleared once it got overturned. And also, with this movie, because like, and it was also one of those cases where it wasn't enough evidence to prove, to prove what had happened. And this movie, though, like, it's definitely, I do think it does send a message. It sends a message to us to show how, like, okay, how fucked up things are, and how, like, and how fucked up the justice system was acting towards him, and how fucked up the justice system can be towards others. And this movie, I do think, though, it is something that, like, okay, everybody needs to see. It is something that like everybody needs to see. And it's also something that I do think that you will enjoy when you do watch this movie, because when you're watching it, there's a lot of things that, like, okay, that, like, that you can agree on whenever that when they're talking about his case and stuff in this movie. Like, okay, yeah, like, like we know that, like, okay, yeah, we know that, how come, like, this wasn't how come they didn't have nothing to prove this in court. And and why was this not said or mentioned. I mean, Brian Banks, the dude was a fighter. He did not give up. I had I admire his story, and I definitely do, gotta show him some love for what he did to prove his innocence, because he wasn't going to stop. He wasn't going to stop at all until when the world knew that he didn't do nothing wrong, and that he was able to get everything cleared. And I was happy that that he still was able to play in the that he still was able to get signed to the NFL, because that was his ultimate dream, was to go pro. And and Brian Banks, it's definitely, it's also a good sports movie to watch, a good biography. And Brian Banks also, I do think, this guy, like the guy who played it, he should, if he doesn't get an Academy Award nomination for it, he definitely should get like a Golden Globe nomination for it, because he did good. They picked the right guy for this, and even Greg Kenner, he did good. He plays Justin Brooks, who is the owner of a nonprofit organization called the California Innocence Project to help those who were wrongly accused of crimes they didn't commit to prove their innocence. And Sherry Shepard, she did well too. She plays Brian Banks' mother in this, and it's, they did do the right choices. It was good acting. It is a good story. For Brian Banks, out of 5 stars, I give Brian Banks 4 out of 5 stars. For its grade, I give Brian Banks an A. It's definitely something that you should go see. Don't wait for it to come to the red box. Go see it ASAP, because his story is definitely a story that you need to see. And I'm happy that they was able to get it to get it to the big screen, because yes, with everything that is going on now in the society, it's definitely something that like you should watch. So till then, this is Ryan A. Polk with the wrap up, signing off.